If you want to be successful in the rideshare business, you have to change your mindset from quantity to quality. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I changed my mindset from quantity to quality and how I was able to be successful in the rideshare business. With that being said, let's dive right into the video. So my first week of driving, y'all, I pretty much did what we all do whenever we first start off. Our mindset is, we make money off each ride we take. So I took damn near every ride I got. Literally every ride I got. And this was driving a luxury car. This was me starting out with the Range Rover. Imagine these people that's, taking a $5 to $10 ride like, I just got picked up in a Range Rover. Imagine what it does to their mindset, thinking that happened often. You know what I mean? But I pretty much started out just like everybody else, accepting every ride because my mindset was, if I can be able to make what I used to make driving a truck, which was $250, $300 per day, I'm good. So that I came in the business with a quota. I'm like, okay, I'm not going home until I make anywhere between $250 to $300. And that led to me working 10 to 12 hours per day, which as rideshare drivers, no matter what platform you're on, if you want to see $300 to $400 per day, that's just what it is. You're going to have to put in 10 to 12 hours per day. And, putting in 10 to 12 hours per day, that puts you right at 30 to 60 an hour, depending. If you're on the Uber Black side of things, that could go up or jump up very quickly because Uber Black is unpredictable. You can get one Uber Black ride that changed the narrative for that day. So the biggest thing I struggle with, y'all, and what I don't want y'all to struggle with is FOMO, fear of missing out. That's the first week of driving. That's what I struggle with the most. Is I'm like, man, I'm not trying to be like these other drivers out here, because when I first got out here, I seen drivers, Uber Black drivers specifically, they on their phone, on their iPad, kick back in their SUV, watching Netflix, watching movies, playing games. And I'm like, they not treating this like a business. Like, how are they able to sit here for all these hours just to get one ride that may be worth $40 to $70 or maybe $100? That was insane to me. So my FOMO doubled up, and I'm like, man, I am not going to be like them, and I'm going to take as many rides as possible. So it was basically a trap. If I wasn't making money and just sitting there, I would panic and accept any ride. So when I first got in, I didn't understand the business fully. I didn't understand my worth. I didn't understand my vehicle worth. I didn't understand the quality of service I was providing, and I didn't understand the caliber of the situation as far as like different type of people you deal with. So I didn't understand none of that. I just came into the business like, I need money. I'm gonna accept any ride. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I was bad. But the good thing about this is I made the amount of money I wanted to make, which at the time I didn't see it as a bad thing. This is what changed everything for me. The turning point that changed everything. So as I was picking up these people, keep in mind in the rideshare business, it's different type of people that's in different type of tax brackets. Obviously, if I'm doing Uber X and Uber Comfort, what tax bracket is that? That's typically going to be low middle class and middle class people, maybe slightly above middle class. But the point is, these people are not well off. That's just what it is. So whenever I pick these people up, like I mentioned earlier, imagine you getting picked up in a nice Range Rover and you only paid $8 or $16 for that ride, right? People kept telling me, you have a really nice car. What are you doing picking us up in such a nice ride? And at first, I didn't really grasp it. I'm like, man, bro, that's starting to be annoying, because literally, y'all, every person I picked up kept saying, man, this is a nice ride. What are you doing picking us up in this? Oh, man, this is a nice ride. I can't believe this is my Uber. Did I make a mistake on the Uber app? And I'm just like, shut the hell up. You know what I mean? It started being annoying. But after a while, I'm like, nah, man, this is a sign. When something like that keep happening, it's a sign. So that's when I changed my perspective on the outlook of how people was treating it. So they, them telling me like, oh, this is a nice car. I'm like, okay, this is a nice car. I need to do something about this. And that's when I flipped my mindset to, okay, I want to start building a private clientele, which I had intentions on building before I actually started driving. I just didn't think it would be so soon. I'm like, let me test it out, because you have to have some type of experience before you start charging $120 an hour or any type of hourly rate. So that's what I wanted to develop. Mine came sooner than soon because I had literally everything. I had the premium service. I had the nice SUV. I had the, status quota of what they'll call in the rideshare business. I had pretty much everything checked off. I just didn't realize it so soon. So my mindset went from speeding through rides to now I was focused on quality. I used to just pick people up and hurry up to drop them off. They in the back trying to talk to me. I'm not, I'm giving one-worded answers to their questions. Not really wanting to talk because, driving people around, it's not the funnest thing to do, especially if they rude people, entitled people. Sometimes it's annoying, right? And you don't pick up the best people all the time. You pick up some a-holes as well. So I was more focused on picking them up, dropping them off real fast. But once I changed my mindset to quality, that's when I started focusing on building up what they call a rapport. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what? Instead of trying to rush, let me learn a little bit about this person, which is who they are and what they do. That's typically the main focus that you need to have as a rideshare driver. It don't matter because you can build a private clientele as a regular rideshare driver or Uber Black driver. It don't matter. If your goal is to scale a private clientele, sorry, I hit my mic, but if your goal is to scale a private clientele in a rideshare business, that's the only thing you need to know. Because once they start talking and telling you about themselves, that's pretty much going to answer whether you can provide your services or not, and whether they're going to want to take your services or not, So that's when my mindset shifted, when people kept saying, oh, nice ride, nice ride. Now, the personal transformation, the quantity mindset put me right at 30 to 60 an hour, as I mentioned earlier. And that's working 10 to 12 hours per day. Let me move myself a little bit. I want y'all to really read off this list. So I rushed through every ride, didn't build up no report, just picking them up, dropping them off, being bland, not being, I always had the quality of knowing how to talk to people, but I didn't exercise that until I switched my mindset. So I was rushing through every ride, had FOMO, couldn't sit at one spot. No passenger interaction, exhausted all the time, not just from driving, but also feeling bad that I'm running my SUV into the ground. Like the first night I drove, I'm like, poor Range Rover, man. Like, I made a good amount of money, but, I'm feeling bad for the car because I'm braking hard. I'm hitting these bumps and stuff. For those of you that don't know, Houston don't have the best roads, by the way. I'm going to just be completely honest. So I felt bad for my SUV, basically. With the amount of money I was making when I first started off, competing on volume only. And when I switched to the quality mindset, I noticed, and quality meaning you focusing on scaling your own private clientele. I'm not saying just focusing on adding quality on the rideshare platforms. So my hourly rate reduced. It got reduced from 30 to 60 to 30 to 47. And that's because I shied away from the ride share platforms. I stopped getting on Uber and Lyft. What was the reason I stopped getting off Uber and Lyft? Is because I started building the clientele. I started focusing on quality of service. So not only was I getting private clients from the rideshare platforms, but I was also getting clients by selling them my service wherever I was at that time. So strictly on the rideshare platforms, what I did, I focused on building a rapport with passengers. Hey, man. Hey, what's up? Where you from? Something simple, just asking nice, generalized questions. Hey, what brings you to the city? Oh, this and that. Like, one thing I learned is people love to talk about themselves. So if you're able to get somebody talking like this, I don't know if y'all can see my hand, you good. You already... Basically, you just got to know how to close on them. Once they start talking like this is all you need. So just build a rapport with the passengers. I focused on what I call ROI rides, return on investment rides. So instead of taking every ride I got because I was scared of missing out on money and not meeting my quota for the day, I started focused on $1 per mile rides. The reason why is because now I have a clientele. Now I'm over here charging $120 an hour, 2 to 3 days out the week now, to where I don't have to work as hard or accept every ride on the rideshare platform. I'm able to wind back a little bit. Like, okay, I ain't accepting them bullshit rides no more. Let me move myself over. But yeah, I ain't accepting them bullshit rides no more. If it's not worth $1 per mile, I'm not taking it. Focused on quality conversations that go hand in hand with building a rapport with your passengers. Not talking about dumb stuff, getting straight to the point, understanding who they are, what they do, and focusing on their pain points. Do they travel a lot? Do they move around a lot through the city? That's the only thing you need to know as a driver. Do they move around a lot? What's their occupation? What do they do for a living? That tells you everything. That's how you close on them. People that don't move around a lot in your city is not a good candidate. People that move around a lot in your city, whether they live in your city or they don't, those are good candidates that you want to target. Traveling people, corporate people, athletes, people that move around a lot. I'm gonna leave it right there. So overcoming FOMO for me, I call it the overcoming the FOMO challenge. I stopped thinking if I'm not moving, I'm not making money. I stopped thinking that. My new framework was $1 per mile or it's not worth it. Because like I mentioned a few seconds ago, I was building a private clientele. So I'm like, man, I'm not finna just let anybody get my service. Like, I start feeling bad too after a while because I'm like, these people only paying me $8, maybe $12 for this ride, and they getting luxury. Because when I started out, y'all, I was, putting water in my car. They was getting complimentary stuff, and they taking an $8 to $10 to $12 ride, and I'm like, man, I was telling my partner, I'm like, nah, this is not good. It started making me feel bad. So once I start switching it to the quality, and I start building the clientele, that's when I was ROI focused, quality over quantity every time. And if I were to go drive full time ever again, that would still be my mindset, because one quality passenger could potentially be a client. Always remember that. The game changer moment for me is whenever I started offering basic level service, meaning I was taking regular rides that was still worth $1 per mile, whether it was an Uber Black ride or a Comfort. I was still offering quality of service. This is when people kept telling me I had a nice car. So I had this mindset of, okay, anybody could be a potential client. All I got to do is show them what I'm worth, basically, which is not really having to talk a lot when it comes to the SUV, because it's like, okay, it's a Range Rover. Now, when they get in, have a nice generalized conversation with them, learn a little bit about them. Okay, cool. Now I have complimentary things in there, stuff that they perceive to be like, oh, okay, this is nice. I could see myself paying for this type of service. So what I did, or what changed it really, is when people start asking me, do you do private driving and do you have a business card? This is before I got my business cards made, by the way. I'm like, oh no. When I start getting more of that, because I start providing a better quality of service, and the only thing I really changed was just me having good conversation with people and adding, small things like water. That's when I'm like, I went back to the house after I got this a couple times. I told my partner, I'm like, hey, I'm getting business cards. People are asking me for these business cards, and I think I'm missing out on money. So breakthrough. When passengers start asking if I did private driving, I realized that the relationship building approach was working. My nice car, quality service, and building a rapport equals business opportunities. So I stopped looking at clients as just a number or just a quick customer. I started treating everybody. And this is why I say it's important, no matter if it's a Uber Black customer or Comfort customer, X customer, even it don't matter. Like, treat them like your private client. Treat them like your private clients. I was going to say private clientele. Treat them like your private clients, because you never know. They could potentially be your private client. Exposure is everything. And if you're exposing yourself in a good way in this business, when it comes to, you giving, or showing that it's like a luxury or luxurious experience. If they book with you, that's what make them want to be your client, or make them want to give you business. So the best way, y'all, is to stop seeing passengers as ride numbers and start seeing them as potential private clients. This changed everything for me. Now, the results shifted. I told y'all I started working less hours, putting in 4 to 8 hours. Work-life balance was better because I didn't have to kill myself on the rideshare platforms like Uber and Lyft. I just got out here, provided the good quality service, learned the basics of knowing how to sell to people. And that's when I start scaling my private clientele. And I was able to not run myself and run my SUV into the ground off trying to take every Uber and Lyft ride I got. So focus, the objective, the main focus for me was just my private clients. So I just stayed focused. I kept exercising my skill set as far as knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to sell to people, and always making sure I had a clean SUV on the inside and outside. So the psychology behind this whole transformation, y'all, is so simple. I don't want y'all to overcomplicate it or think it's tough or challenging to do. I feel like where most drivers mess up is they think, oh man, they not gonna want to go with my service. It's a lot of other Uber Black drivers out there, or it's a lot of other rideshare drivers out there. And that's where they mess up. That's a scarcity mindset. Another point of a scarcity, or another view of a scarcity mindset, is a person that must take every ride, which once upon a time, that was me. And if you're watching this video and you taking every ride, and this just depends on your situation. I forgot to add that in earlier. If you just coming in to make extra money, make extra cash, treat this as a hustle, do your thing. Take every ride, because you're not in here trying to make it a business. So that makes sense. But if you're coming in here treating it like a business and you want to scale, this is what you need to do. You need to switch your mindset from taking every ride to focusing on adding better quality service. So the abundance mindset is quality opportunities, quality, exercising your skill set. Your skill set as a driver is knowing how to talk to people. That's it. And just providing good customer service and having a nice, clean SUV. It's so simple. That's the best way I can put it. But, scarcity versus abundance is the two factors that play a role into whether you're going to be successful in this business or not. Stop looking at Uber and Lyft as a job and looking at customers and clients as numbers or just regular customers, and start treating it like an actual business. Treat them like they actually your customers and not Uber and Lyft customers. And watch what I tell you. Watch how you fucking scale a private clientele. Number 2, asset recognition. Here's the thing. So your asset in the rideshare business is your vehicle. Now, I told y'all, do not go spend over $40,000 on the SUV. And I mean that shit. Because I don't think it's worth spending no more than that on driving people around. I don't care if you got a private clientele or not, because at the end of the day, you still going to run a car into the ground, putting a lot of miles on it, driving people around. But your car is your asset in this business. So make sure if you do choose a car that's below 40K, try to go with something that's different, that stand out. That's what I did. Like I sorted out through multiple cars, and that's what led me to getting the Range Rover. I was actually going to get a Cadillac Escalade ESV, but they didn't want to work in my favor. So I'm like, this Range Rover is nice, and it's in my price range, and it got the mileage I didn't want it to have. I didn't want to go over, because I was looking for an SUV with high mileage, but not to where it was like, that's ridiculous. Like, it was still fair. You know what I mean? So I got the Rover, and I'm like, nice car. I wasn't looking at it as a business starting out. Like I said, like treating it like a business. I'm just like, I want a cool car that people going to be like, I would love riding in this. So even though I looked at it as an asset starting out, once I purchased the car and started driving, I didn't treat it as such until a lot of people started redirecting me by saying, you have a nice car. Do you have business cards? Do you do private driving? So your nice car isn't just transport. It's a business tool that attracts quality clients. So if you have a nice car, good quality service, that's it. That's all you need to, build and scale a private clientele. So your asset is your vehicle. So make sure you choose a vehicle that is, nice and it stands out a little bit. And the thing about this is, even if you do choose a regular vehicle, Chevy Suburban or, Ford Expedition, whatever, Infiniti QX80, you can always add things to that SUV. I see some guys put like the little stars on the roof, or they add some type of wheels on there, or they'll do something, change the lights, put like the dancing disco ball shit in there. Like, it's different things you can add to your vehicle to make it more of an asset or increase the value when it comes to how clients look at it. So that's, recognize that your car is your asset in this business. And then 3, relationship value. Every passenger is potentially a business relationship, not just a transaction. So you need to realize that and act accordingly. And it don't matter if they giving, quality client or not. Always treat everybody with the same equal service. Good quality conversation, making sure you picking them up, nice clean SUV. Just having small things in your car that could potentially get their attention. I know it sucks because I get a lot of people saying, should I do this for my Uber Black customers? And I'm like, you ain't got to go above and beyond. But would I have water in my SUV? Yes. Because some people might get in like, oh, shit, I'm thirsty. Oh, you got water. Thank you so much. Boom. Something like that could get you a potential client. And I was able to get some clients off having that or having complimentary stuff in my SUV. So what you're going to do to make this mental shift is, first things first, slow the hell down. Stop taking any and every ride. Start focusing on, if you're not talking to your customers off the Rideshare platform, start talking to them. Stop being distracted. Stop being in your own world. Stop, being upset about whatever. If your goal is to make this a business, you need to treat it as such, and you need to treat them as your own personal private client. So you need to start building a rapport, learn about them. It only take 5 to 10 minutes. Figure out who they are, what they do. That'll tell you a lot. 2, set your ROI standards. Y'all know what I say. If it's not $1 per mile, do not take it, because one good quality ride could change everything to make a person your private client. And you're going to beat FOMO. Understand that one quality ride is way better than 5 garbage rides. And that one quality ride could be a private client. I'm not just saying, I don't want to make this strictly, Rideshare app based. I'm talking about whatever. I'd rather go service one of my private clients for 2 hours and make $240 rather than take every ride for 5 to 6 hours just to make equivalent to that, $200, $220. So I'm always, now I'm on the side of quality over quantity, because at the end of the day in Rideshare business, quality is what make the big money, the big bucks. And that's your target audience. Those are the people you need to be targeting, the people that's in higher tax brackets, because they're going to want that quality service. So key mindset, y'all, is your vehicle is an asset, your service is premium, and your time has value. Act accordingly. And if you made it to the end of this video and you want to change your mindset from quantity to quality, that way you see results at a faster pace, I got 2 things for you. First thing I got is my 30-day mentorship, which you get me directly one-on-one for 1 month straight. I set you down and I help you map out a plan. That way you see success in Rideshare business. And the other thing I got for you is the Rideshare blueprint. It's basically understanding the Rideshare business at a faster pace. It's literally a shortcut to understanding the logistics of the Rideshare business. That way you're not wasting time and also money on things you don't need. So if you want access to both these products, click the link in my bio. With that being said, y'all, that'll be it for this video. I'll catch y'all next video.